Hey everybody, how you doing? Tekking and Barry here, back again. Barry, you're wearing a suit. My God, you look fabulous, man. You look like you could be my boss, as if you weren't already. Special thanks to Maggie, who created this awesome suit and tie combo for Barry. Even included the little I Heart Anime button. He's like he's doing a cosplay of me. We have now reached a point where we're making suit and ties to put on bricks. It's just whatever. Actually, don't laugh, okay? Because Barry, he looks like he could be, giving you a very serious job interview. So if you have a job interview coming up, right, and you're getting all dressed up and you're like, man, this could make or break my entire career, and you go in and Barry's sitting across from you, you just don't laugh, okay? This is serious, all right? So anyway, yeah, I would love to go on and on about Barry's new threads, but this is a huge chapter. We have a lot of stuff going on today, so let's just dive right in. This will be One Piece chapter 1012, titled The Itch. Yes, the itch for battle, the itch for war, the itch to fight against Kaido's Tobiropo. Anybody out there ever have chicken pox? Thankfully, I never did, but I hear it's horrible. But at any rate, yeah, so we have the cover page really quick. I just wanted to bring this up because it shows Eustace Kid creating an extremely intricate, like, vulture out of metal. So he's using his magnetic powers to, like, take all these screws and bolts and, metal plates and to create this really elaborate metal vulture. Like most, like, cyborgs and robots in the One Piece world, it has a number on the side of it. I think it's, like, 81 or 91. It looks like 81. And so that's something interesting, but I also wanted to bring up the idea that, like, depending on how much time that Kid has at his disposal, he could probably create very intricate, very elaborate machines, Like, when he was fighting against Kaido and Big Mom and everything, he created the giant mech with, like, the skull face and everything, like, I think Punk Rotten was the name of it. That really did seem like he just took whatever he could find lying around and then smashed it together, and it just so happened he took the metal to make it look like a face. But I wonder, like, if Kid had a few hours or days to prepare something, could he make, like, an intricate, like, Megazord? And what I mean by that, like, is something that could actually, like, fire rocket launchers, or maybe not laser beams, that might be too much, but, like, maybe a retractable buzzsaw or something, or, like, a chainsaw, swords popping out, chains to, like, wrap around the enemy and knock them down or something. Like, could he make a machine that's that complicated, or something that could fire, like, cannons or something? I'm curious about what the extent is here. Obviously, Kid and Killer seem to have some sort of, like, mechanic engineering background, so maybe they could make something like that. But yeah, it's kind of nice. He makes this vulture, and there's also some regular birds that are nesting in his hair because he's too busy making this thing. He's also wearing an apron that says 3D on it, so I'm like, he's like a 3D printer when it comes to metal objects, so that's pretty cool. Alright, so we start off with the Scabbards. Of course, we have Inuarashi fighting against Jack. Raizo stayed behind to fight against Fuku Rokuju. We have the rest of them, and they're basically deciding to all split up because they're like, okay, we probably don't have to all go to save Momonosuke. Kinemon says that, like, okay, I'll probably be enough to help out Momonosuke. We should all really go and separate and help out the individual battles where we're needed. We have Izo there who questions Kiku, like, hey Kiku, how's the fact that you lost an arm? Are you going to be okay? Because, you lost an arm, and when we stopped the bleeding, maybe they cauterized it, or whoever's the one that healed the Scabbards, the mysterious silhouette that we still don't know. Probably Toki. Or Hiyori. Sorry, I have a little bit of a cough. But yeah, no, Kiku, the way this is initially said, it was kind of like Kiku was, like, burning Izo, because Kiku was like, oh, 'tis but an itch, brother. It's not a big deal that I lost an arm. I felt way more pain when you decided to abandon me and go off with the Whitebeard crew for years, and I never saw you again until recently. So, yeah, I mean, like, it's sort of like a good-natured, like, joke where just like, yeah, it's not a big deal I lost my arm. I was way more upset when you left. And so Izo's like, don't tease me, Kiku. So I guess it's in good fun, but it is kind of sad because that is what happened. Izo, chased after Odin onto Whitebeard's ship, and just after all of the events and spending so long there, after Odin went with Roger, Izo could have easily, went back to Wano. I'm sure Whitebeard would have taken him back if he would have requested, but Izo, for whatever reason, decided to stay on Whitebeard's crew. I guess he just bonded with the rest of the crew and Whitebeard, and he's like, okay, this is not a bad bad pirate. This is somebody that's really, you know, somebody that's really impressive and remarkable, and Izo decided to stay on board. But nevertheless, you know, Kiku at that time was pretty young. She's the youngest out of all of the scabbards, and so, you know, she was kind of abandoned by her older brothers, so I could see where, you know, the little, like, you know, hey, yeah, it's not a big deal, I lost an arm, you left, and that was really sad, so, whatever. She seems like she's gonna be okay, though, missing an arm, but I think Kiku's gonna be alright here in battle. She also mentions, hey, Kinemon, please allow me to go with you to fight against Kanjuro. I was the one that was supposed to have finished him off, and I failed at that. He's still alive. You know, I held my punches, so to speak. I want another chance here. I want to be the one to finish Kanjuro off, because that was the order I was given. And so, Kinemon's like, okay, Kiku, you come with me. Everybody else, you know, I wish you the best of luck in war. There's also a scene with Kawamatsu, I think because Izo's the only one out of all of them that's really explored the outside world. Yeah, Kinemon and Raizo and everybody went into the outside world too, but that was only for a few months. Izo's been traveling with the Whitebeard crew for several years now, like well over a decade, actually 2 decades, right? And so Kawamatsu asks Izo, hey, Izo, what do you think's going to happen after the war's over, after Wano is opened up to the world? You know, best case scenario, we defeat Big Mom, we defeat Kaido, Momonosuke becomes the new shogun, opens up Wano, carries out Odin's dream. What awaits us in the next era? And Izo, I mean, they're kind of in the middle of something here. I understand what Kawamatsu, he's trying to stay optimistic and everything, like, Kappa Kappa, we're all gonna win, right? So what catering service should we hire for the victory banquet? What kind of desserts should we have after we've slain Kaido and eat on the top of his, like, dragon corpse? You know, what should we consume? And so I understand that, but it's like, Izo's like, hey, we'll worry about that if we survive until dawn. If we can make it to the morning, then we'll worry about what will come next. But for right now, we just have to survive. And Kawamatsu's like, a tall order indeed, but we can do this, right? And so, with that being said, they all scatter. Nekomamushi runs into Shishalian, as well as Bariete. Yeah, Bariete. He was the mink monkey dude, the one that initially showed up at Zou. Like, when the Straw Hats first arrived there, there was that monkey that was, like, sounding the bell and then ran back to the people to alert the villagers. This makes me curious, like, who exactly stayed behind at Zou? Because all of the Musketeers and all of the Guardians, as well as, like, Neko and Inu, they're all there right now fighting on Onigashima. I'm assuming, like, they left a few warriors back at Zou. Probably didn't know about very many of them, but, yeah, probably not a lot of minks left on Zou, except for, like, the elderly and, like, the women and the children and everybody. But, yeah, all of the warriors pretty much came here to fight at this battle. So, Nekomamushi decides to go with them, and keep in mind, Neko arrived kind of late to this whole thing, so he doesn't even know about Pedro. So as they're running, Shishalian kind of fills them in and just like, yes, this battle is getting really intense. The person that killed Pedro is fighting against Carrot and Wanda. Neko's like, wait, back up. Pedro's dead? He's like, oh yes, he's dead. Now, we don't really see this exchange. It's just kind of like Neko running away with Shishalian and Bariete. And then the next scene is like, what? Pedro's dead? Meow! So they had to fill him in and be like, hey, sorry, I know we're in the middle of something right now, Master Nekomamushi, but yeah, Pedro died like a while ago. And so he explains that the person that killed him, Perospero, is on the island and is currently fighting against Wanda and Carrot. And so you can imagine Neko gets pretty pissed about this, and he's like, "Gyon now! I will slay him!" And so he bounces off, you know, does the mighty cat leap ahead of Shishalian and ahead of Bariete. And so you can see now, we don't really get to see Perospero in this chapter, but yeah, Nekomamushi is going to be the one to fight against Pero. That's going to be fun. Perospero is going to be like walking into the freaking live stage. He's going to have his little candy cane. He's going to be twirling it like, yes, I've just defeated Carrot and Wanda. Not a big deal. Now, where is Mama? And then out of nowhere, last thing he would have seen coming, I don't care if he's got observation hockey or what, a giant cat tiger jumps out of the crowd and just yow and just slashes Perospero right down the side, and he just starts bleeding profusely, like, what happened? Why? And he's like, you've killed one of my comrades. And then the fight really gets on. I don't think Neko even needs to have Sulong for this. You know, he's Nekomamushi. Perospero's already wounded. He's already missing an arm from back at Totland. And yeah, he was able to defeat Carrot and Wanda. Ugh. But he got wounded in the process. I feel like he didn't, you know, get through that unscathed. And with Nekomamushi showing up with his Catling gun, like, you know, you know, and just like unloads all of the neons on freaking Perospero. He's going down, right? And I would love the scene for Perospero to be all slashed up by Nekomamushi, up against a wall, riddled full of bullets from the Catling gun, and then right before Nekomamushi deals the coup de grace, Carrot walks up behind him and is like, Master Nekomamushi, let me finish him off. Just like the crackle of Electro, and it goes dark. In this scenario I'm painting, it goes dark. You know, Carrot's there and she's like, let me finish him off. I'll avenge Pedro. And then Neko's like, okay, Gyornyao, go ahead. And she's like, And then she just walks up. This is maybe getting a little bit too seinen for One Piece, but she walks right up to Perospero. He's up against the wall. He's all bleeding. He's like missing an eye and whatever. Half of his face is clawed off. And he's like, you know, you minks need to know your... And just slices off his head with an electro blade. Yeah! Let's hope that happens. Okay, so what else are we doing here? So yeah, Kiku goes with Kinemon, and the other ones scatter. We don't really know where Izo's going to head, or Kawamatsu, who they're going to fight against, but yeah, Neko's and Shishilin and Bariete are going to go to where Perospero is, of course. Also might want to make sure, you know, Wanda and Carrot are okay, but yeah. So, now we cut back over to the attic again, where we see Yamato, Momo, and Shinobu, and Yamato is like, okay, you know, I can't be running around with you all the way, Lord Momonosuke, because eventually they're going to find me, and if they find me, they find you. So here's the plan. Yamato just hurries up and makes this really simple decoy, you know, just like a paper doll of Momonosuke, and Yamato's like, I'll just hide this, and then, you know, they come after me, and then, you know, they'll think this is you. And so it's definitely not going to work as a decoy, but Shinobu and Momo can tell that Yamato is just really itching for a fight, right? And Yamato's like really fidgety. He's like, oh yeah, this is going to be a decoy. This is going to be great. Whew. And it's like, you can kind of feel this from Yamato, because it's like, for the last 20 chapters or so, they've been ducking around, like, back sheds and crawl spaces and, like, the attics, trying to hide from all the Beast Pirates, because Momo's with them, right? And so you can tell Yamato's just like, this is great and everything, hiding in attics and Kaido's back shed, but I want to get into a fight! I want to get into a brawl! That's what's going on here, right? And so, Yamato decides to leave, also asks Momonosuke, because of his ability of, like, either the voice of all things, or heightened observation hockey, or if it's one of the same, whatever you want to call it, Yamato asks Momo, what's the situation up above? Can you still hear the voices? Like, how's Luffy doing? And so Momo's like, well, Luffy's voice is still there. Really not much has changed in terms of that. Like, he's still alive, he's still fighting, but there's only two voices now on the roof, and that's just Kaido and Luffy. And so Yamato gets very distressed by this, and is like, oh, it's one-on-one? You're telling me Luffy is fighting one-on-one with my father? I need to get up there stat, okay? And that harkens back to the whole introduction of Kaido when he fell off of the Sky Island at Kid and Apu and Hawkins' meeting. It was stated by the narrator, you know, if it's one-on-one, Kaido wins. And so maybe that's why Yamato's a little bit nervous, like, okay, I need to go help out Luffy, Ace's brother, okay, because that's not good. If there was ever anybody that would fight against, you know, Kaido one-on-one and could beat him, I would say main character of the story. Also the fact that, you know, Luffy's had some help. It wasn't just him from the start. He had the Scabbards, plus Law, Kid, Killer, Zoro. So it's like a weakened Kaido, but it's also a weakened Luffy, but he also discovered the Conqueror's hockey trick. So we don't know, but seeing Yamato and Luffy fight together, tag team against Kaido, honestly not what I was expecting, and that still might not what happened. Yamato might get swept up in like Jinbei's fight for all we know. We don't know how that's going to go. But yeah, I'm interested to see where this is going. Yamato's finally getting in on the action here. After Yamato leaves, we have a scene with Shinobu and Momo, and they have Oden's logbook, his journal. And so it's like, well, we're hanging out in this attic right now, and nobody's really around. There's kind of like a Shinto temple, like a shrine kind of in the attic. And so they take out the logbook Yamato gave them, and Momo's like, you know, I've heard all these stories about my dad's like epic adventures, but I've never actually like read them, you know, what actually happened, just stories from other people. So he starts reading Oden's logbook, and Shinobu's in the background kind of like, I dare not look at Oden's adventures. And so she's looking too. So, yeah, now this is something very interesting because Momo is definitely going to read about, it's always debatable whether or not Oden actually put in the logbook what the One Piece was, you know, or is, you know, that's a big thing if it's just written right there in the book. Now, let's say it was. Let's say it was written in the book that, you know, Oden went to Laugh Tale, found out what the One Piece was, and actually wrote it down there in the logbook, okay? That doesn't mean it's going to ruin the story in any capacity. Luffy's definitely not going to read it. Luffy would be the kind of guy to rip out the page and shred it right there, right? He doesn't want to read about it. But, you know, Oden was there, and that's the whole point of a logbook, is to kind of record your journeys and the things that you encounter and you find. So did he write it down? If that's the case, Momo might find out about it. But even if he didn't include what the One Piece was out of respect for Roger or whatever, or maybe Joy Boy, he did include the passages about Joy Boy, about the second coming of him, and, you know, how that's going to happen, and Wano needs to be prepared and opened up for the return of Joy Boy. So Momo's going to find out some stuff about this. In fact, I would be okay with Oden leaving out the One Piece part, and Momo is just like, oh, he doesn't say what's on this island on Laugh Tale, but he does say there's like this prophecy of Joy Boy returning, and that's like a big deal, and that's what Luffy maybe ties into, and the Will of D and everything. So, yeah, because remember, in the preface to the scene of Roger laughed, you know, when we got that scene, the lead up to that was Oden writing in his logbook, and he's like, what are the ancient weapons? What is the One Piece? You know, what is the Will of D? Who is Joy Boy? All of these things. What is the Void Century? And then we get the Roger laugh scene. So, to me, it seemed to imply that Oden was kind of writing this down, like, what is the ancient weapons? Well, here are the ancient weapons. What is the Will of D? Well, here's the answer to that. That seems to imply that was in the book, but I do not know. Or maybe the pages are missing because it's a manga, so of course there would be. Anyway, we now cut over to Sanji, who is carrying a massive cross joint, running around the hallways of Onigashima. Okay, so I've seen so many memes of this, right? You know, where, like, okay, the situation, what happened, and this is hilarious. You thought Law was going to heal Zoro? Oh, no, we were way off the money on that one. Okay. So, after Law used his room to teleport himself, Zoro, and Zeus off of the roof, they kind of appeared, you know, like high up on the, not the stage, but like the third or fourth level. However, it seemed like Law wasn't able to tell, like, what debris they were switching with. That's important to remember, that whenever Law uses shambles, he's not teleporting in the sense of, like, going wherever he wants. He's switching places with something else. So when he opened up his room, he probably didn't have a lot of time because he was on the roof and he had to leave Luffy to fight Kaido. So he's like, oh, there's some objects down below. I'll just switch with those. Whip, and then it's like, oh crap, that was falling debris. I'm way up high, falling down. They land right on top of Sanji, who just happened to be running by. Law is so cool too. He lands with his sword and he's like cross-legged riding on Sanji's shoulder, and Zoro's like, you know, he's like a rag doll at this point because of all of his bones that are broken. He just falls down. Zeus is there too. Sanji questions him about Nami, like, hey Zeus, where's Nami? And he's like, oh, I don't know what's going on, man. Where's Big Mom? I'm out of here, bye. And so Zeus just speeds off. We have no idea. We assume he's going to Big Mom, but I don't think he's going to be welcomed back in open arms, you know what I mean? So maybe Nami could end up keeping Zeus. In fact, I think that Nami should, because, you know, Big Mom created Hera, a brand new lightning homie, it seems. So yeah, with that being said, why can't Nami just keep Zeus? Especially at the end of this chapter, we see a Nami fight getting started, so Zeus showing up and helping out Nami, that'll definitely be very helpful. But at any rate, after Law fell down, he kind of like left immediately, just left Zoro in Sanji's care without performing any sort of first aid. All he did was shout over to Sanji, oh, good thing you're here, Sanji. Okay, so I gotta get going. Zoro has about 20 to 30 broken bones. Put him in a splint, tie him up, make sure he can't move, make sure to keep his head elevated, and everything should be good. Make sure he doesn't die. I gotta get going. Now, where's Big Mom? And it seems to imply Law is going after Big Mom somewhere. Maybe, you know, it'll be Law and Kid fighting against Big Mom together. That would be a really cool scene. So Sanji responds with like, I got other stuff to do, and I'm not a doctor, dude. What do you expect? And so Law Law just runs off. He just gives him some really quick instructions, and Sanji's like holding Zoro like lifeless body. It's all banged up, and he's like, damn it, you stupid moss head. So he like throws, like, he's very rough. He like throws Zoro's body down. He like kicks apart a giant pillar, grabs some spare wood, snaps it, you know, ties him up in a freaking cross, you know, so he's all secure. And then, you know, obviously Sanji isn't a doctor, so he's like, okay, he told me to put him into a splint. All right, screw it. And he just takes a bunch of cloth and just wraps the crap out of him. So it really does look like Sanji's hauling around a giant cross joint on his back, okay? I've never partaken, but I had a friend that made one of those once, and I'm like, that's what it looks like. I saw a lot of memes. I also saw some people calling him San Jesus. San Jesus. I mean, okay, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. So yeah, he's running around with Zoro. Zoro himself is, aside from his face, completely covered with cloth and wood as like a splint, okay? Also, 20 to 30 bones. Pfft, that's nothing to Zoro. Did you know the human body has over 200 bones? Because, you know, according to Kimimaro from Naruto, I went and checked. It is over 200. And last time I checked, you know, 30 is like less than a quarter. So, you know, he's only got less than 25% of all of the bones in his body broken. Pfft, not a big deal. You sleep that off, he'll be fine. Now, I kid, but it is One Piece after all. This is the world where you're missing some teeth. All you gotta do is drink some milk. We actually saw Kinemon missing a tooth in today's chapter. So yeah, all he has to do is just drink some nice vitamin D milk. He'll be good to go. So, yeah, I have no doubts that after resting a little bit, Zoro's mostly asleep in this chapter, or unconscious, or in a coma, one or the other. And I'm sure eventually he's gonna wake back up and like cut himself out of the freaking splint or whatever after a few chapters, and he'll be like, all right, I'm healed, I'm ready to go. Like, I had a nap, I'm good. Those bones that are broken are fine. He probably won't be up at like 100%, but we probably will see another fight with Zoro, but he's taken out of commission for a little while there. I guess the other option is also Sanji could run into Chopper, or maybe Miyagi, the goat mink that was the doctor on Zou, could run into a proper doctor and get Zoro some treatment there. But yeah, I was thinking Law was definitely just gonna, you know, not like heal him completely, but Law performs like some really quick first aid to help him out, but I did not see this coming. All of the Beast Pirates assume right away, there's Sanji, and he's carrying somebody like a giant cross. It must be Zoro. Like, they just assume right away that he's carrying a human being. All right, let's just roll with it, I guess. And so Sanji's running around, and, he's like wondering where to go next. He's being surrounded. Zoro wakes up very briefly to just be like, you should head to the live floor, stupid spiral eyebrow doofus. And then he goes back to bed, and Sanji's like, don't give orders and then go to bed right now. I literally, where can I set you down? I can just throw you in a closet or something, and I can, you know, continue on fighting. I could find Nami or somebody. Oh, man. So that's a pretty interesting scene. That was pretty funny, that Sanji and Zoro, it's not the team-up that we thought we were going to get. Like, we thought we were going to see Sanji and Zoro fight together, like in the intro, Dreaming On. But no, that's still happening. It might, oh my god, I can't wait for a scene if that actually happens, where like one of the Toby Roper, I guess not the Toby Ropo, but maybe one of the headliners jumps at Sanji. Sanji just takes Zoro and just BAM! Just hits him like a giant bat or something, and Zoro's like, of course at that point the splint gets broken, Zoro pops out and he's just like, whew, I'm all better. You know, that'll be pretty cool. But yeah, probably not going to see some action with Zoro in a while. So now, last scene of the chapter, we cut over to Big Mom, and she is just lording over page 1. He's not dead or anything, but he's not moving also. So she just, bam, pummeled page 1 to the ground, like, you know, how dare you destroy the town that served me food? You know, we may be pirates. In fact, we may be Yonko, and we might be the worst of the worst on the high seas and in the new world, but we have a code of honor, you dipshits, you know? And so, bam, slam page 1 right into the ground. Ulti is absolutely surprised by this, and she's like, unforgivable, Big Mom, how dare you hurt my adorable Pei bar? And so she charges right at Big Mom. Now, here's the thing. There's some options on the table here for Usopp and Nami and Tama and the Komachio. I keep saying the Komachio. Koma Inu is the name of the species. Komachio is the actual name of the dog. So I should be saying the Koma Nekoma Inu or Komachio, but whatever, that's neither here nor there. That was just something I noticed I did a lot last time and it was bugging me. Anyway, so they have some options on the table. They could, number one, just leave. In fact, Usopp wants to do that too. Usopp's like, oh, great, okay. You know, page 1's knocked out and Ulti's gonna fight against Big Mom. Let's get the hell out of here. Let's just bail, right? Nami, though, is kind of playing the option of like, alright, we just had Big Mom, this agent of chaos, you know, somebody that really is just a wild card on this entire battlefield, punch down one of Kaido's, like, take out one of the Tobiropo in one shot. Maybe I can manipulate Big Mom to punch out Ulti, too. So Nami shouts over, like, oh, Big Mom, Olin, you don't understand, it wasn't the Spinosaur that caused all the problems at the Okabore town, it was actually Ulti that did it. And so Big Mom, she doesn't really listen to her, she just kind of looks over at Nami and just like, shut up, you stupid straw hats, I'm still going to kill you too, but after I take care of these people. So yeah, like I said, don't think that Big Mom is instantly going to switch sides. She is very much an agent of chaos. She's absolutely unpredictable and irrational. That's the thing, like, she could switch sides 3 or 4 times more in this battle and it would make perfect sense given her character, okay? So Tama's like, that means Spinosaur wrecked our hometown. She's like, they did? Bam! Actually, it was them. Shut up! You know, I'll do what I want, you know, so it's very unpredictable. And of course, you know, Big Mom doesn't like Nami or anything, so she's not going to listen to her. So then she decides to flip it again and go to Ulti and be like, okay, that didn't work with Big Mom. Hey, Ulti-chan, do you want to fight against Big Mom together? We could probably take her. And Ulti's just like, shut up! I'm going to fight you after this is over. So the whole idea of, like, turning Big Mom to fight against all of the Tobiropo, that's not going to work. And the whole idea of Ulti and Nami teaming up to fight against Big Mom, that's not going to work. And so the Komachio, damn it, the Koma Inu starts running away as fast as it can. Unfortunately, Ulti goes into her hybrid form. I believe it's her hybrid form. Yeah, I don't think it's the full Pachycephalosaurus. Slams into the side of Komachio. There, I got it. Slams into the side of Komachio. Really hurts the dog. I feel bad for that poor doggo. Gets knocked down, and then Otama's there, and Otama's crying, like, no, how dare you hurt my adorable Koma Inu? And then freaking Ulti's just like, shut up, you brat! Bam! And just smacks Tama to the ground. Oh, ho, ho, ho. You should... Ulti, girl, oh. There was a few things, there were a few options you could have done on that table, too. You probably picked the worst possible one, alright? Like, seriously, like, if this was a D&D campaign right now, and there was a player playing as Ulti, and be like, okay, what do you do next? I smack Otama in the face right in front of Nami and Big Mom. Why? I rolled a hit, but why? Oh my god, this is gonna go south for you. So as soon as that happens, after she strikes Tama, you know, she's not like unconscious or anything, which, you know, thank God, considering this is one of the freaking Tobiropo, plus she's in her hybrid Pachycephalosaurus form, and Tama is, you know, 8, you know, so that's, you know, thankfully she's not seriously, I hope she's not critically injured. Big Mom sees this and just like, how dare you hurt Otama? And Big Mom is about to lay down the smack on Ulti, but then Nami chimes in right before Big Mom can even get in a hit. She takes out her climb attack and then boom, shoves a lightning bolt right down Ulti's giant forehead. Bam! And she gets knocked down. Usopp's in the background, right? And he's like, Nami, what are you doing? They were about to kill each other. Let's just get out of here while we can. Big Mom was just about to one-shot her. Let's go. And Nami's standing there with her climb attack. Hold on. I don't have Nami's climb attack, but I do have Katakuri's Mogura. That's a polearm weapon. That'll have to do for right now. And she's just like, I don't care. I can't stand this. Somebody that would strike a little kid like that. It's on. Bring it, Ulti. You know, and so she's in full-on war mode right now, because that's something about Nami's character. We saw that a lot at Punk Hazard and everything with the kids there, like Mocha, that were experimented on by Caesar. Any kind of harm or danger befalls children on Nami's watch, oh, that's her switch. That's her, like, I don't give a shit anymore. the fight is on now, all right? And so the crazy thing is, that lightning bolt, while very strong and filled with rage, is probably not enough to bring down Ulti. Ulti's taken a few other lightning bolts before this, and it wasn't enough to bring her down. And so Big Mom, though, if Nami would have allowed her attack to continue, and Big Mom would have used that same Conqueror's blow, just bam, that probably could have one-shot Ulti. All right? But Nami might have known that. She's not an idiot, but she's like, I can't stand this. I'm fighting her. I don't care. You know, so the whole idea of like, maybe I can turn Ulti on Big... No, we can work together. That's all out the window right now. So, I think the best possible thing to happen right now is for Kid or Law to show up and get Big Mom away from this battlefield, and then it can just be Usopp and Nami fighting against Ulti. Page 1 is already conked out. He's gone. He's probably not going to get back up, and I think we've seen enough of Page 1 already. Last review I said to Page 1, I said, you're not my least favorite Tobiropo, but then afterwards I started going through all of them, and I'm like, wait a second. If he's not my least favorite, who is my least favorite? And I was like, no, okay. Page 1 is probably my least favorite Tobiropo. They're a good group. It's just out of the 6, he's probably the one I like the least. That was Nami. No. That's not happening. That's not happening today. Not after the chapter we've had. Okay, you're staying up. Okay, there we go. All right. So now that Page 1 is taken out of the picture, it's Usopp and Nami themselves up against Ulti. I think there's options here. I think this can work, especially since how pissed off Nami is right now after what happened to Tama. And remember, there was that one chapter, there was that one scene where Usopp had Ulti all tied up with the tentacles, the vines, and the acid was dripping on her, and so that's still kind of hot. Anyway, the acid's dripping on her, right, and she was about to melt, and then all of a sudden freaking, Page 1 came out and like snapped the vine, and so that's how she got freed. But now Page 1 isn't there anymore, so it's just Ulti against Usopp and Nami, and she's taken like 3 lightning bolts already from them. She's, has a lot of endurance, and she's got an ancient zone. She's got a lot of like a high recovering option, like a healing factor and stuff, but I think this could make it work. I definitely think that we can make this work with Usopp and Nami together, okay? So, yeah, we just have to get Big Mom out of there because Big Mom's still stomping around in the middle of all this. That's not going to work. So next chapter, and there's no break next week, thank God. And then maybe we can have the scene where Zeus returns and then goes back into Nami's climb attack, and then she can use all the high-level lightning attacks again, and that might be how she finishes off Ulti with a Zeus attack. It was mentioned, I mean, we already assumed this, it was pretty obvious, but in the most recently released Vivara cards, the Wano pack of the Vivara cards, Oda did confirm, yeah, when Nami uses Zeus as a conduit with her climb attack, whole other ball game of electrical powers, and so right now she does not have Zeus, but Zeus will probably return to her and then stay with her, and then she'll be able to defeat Ulti that way. So yeah, it's taken a while to get to this fight, but I hope we stick with this. I hope that this fight continues in the next chapter and we get that awesome brawl. Then we can see the other Tobiropo fighting against, the Straw Hats. Maybe Kawamatsu will go help out Frankie. Maybe Izo will help go fight Jinbei, help with Jinbei's fight with Who's Who. Maybe something along those lines. Actually, that would probably work. I would have liked to see Kawamatsu and Jinbei fight together because, they're both fishmen and everything. But Izo and Jinbei would work because of their connection to Whitebeard, right? So that would be cool. And Who's Who apparently knows something about Jinbei back from his time when he was a warlord. Like, they encountered each other at some other point. So maybe Who's Who has a connection to Whitebeard as well. And then Izo being there, Izo shows up and like, oh, I remember who you are, and then so, Izo explains it to Jinbei, and then that would actually be a really cool, like, encounter there. So, we'll see where it goes. And then, of course, we have Sanji running around with Zoro on the cross. So, or Zoro, there he is. So, we'll see where that goes, I guess. But really good chapter. I think worth the 2-week wait. We got a lot of stuff packed in here. And then, of course, Yamato. Yamato running off to go and help fight against Kaido alongside Luffy. We'll see if Yamato stops at someplace else or just goes straight up to Kaido. We'll see where that goes. As well as now Yamato's ability, because I just assumed that Kaido is a dragon, Yamato's a dragon as well, but considering now that that's, clearly that Kaido has the fruit, we'll see Yamato with something else. Maybe Yamato, because the popular theory is maybe Yamato is a tiger, because the tiger, Tora, is like the enemy of the dragon, Ryu, and I've seen a lot of cool fan art and everything, like ideas with that, so, yeah, probably gonna make a video about that this week, about Yamato's power. We'll see where that goes. But anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks to Maggie once again. stand for the awesome threads that Barry now wears. He'll probably be wearing this. This is probably Barry in his final form for quite some time. Thanks for watching. Tekking signing out.